It's Demour. ShoWTimE.
And his opponent in the top left-hand side showing us that the secret ingredient in Secret Ingredient Noodle Soup is actually just water. It's our red Pro Toss player from Cascade Gaming, ShoWTimE's countryman from Germany. It's GunGFuBanDa.
Wait, you have to explain the joke that I just missed.
Have you seen GunGFuBanDa?
Yes, I have. I get it now.
You got it. You got it.
Boom.
So, really quick, a fun fact, I've actually never seen GunGFuBanDa. I just watched...
That's so good. All three are wicked, man. Right.
Oh, it's funny because I've read amazing... Even the Chinese people that watch it are like, wow, Disney went way... Or Pixar went way... Whichever one it is. Went way out of their way to make this like a very authentic experience. Like, that's the brand of noodles I buy and stuff. Yeah. So I've heard that they're very good.
I need to watch them at some point. I'm gonna make you. We can watch them together.
Aw, that'd be so cute. Have a little movie date with you, Grant.
Yeah.
Well, really quickly, before we get too far into this game, it looks like standard starts on both sides. Going to be cyber cores on both sides as well after the second gateway. So standard PvP openings here. Just really quickly to follow, just put a sort of a bow on what I was talking about with the group stages. We're going to have 2 matches A, 2 matches B, 1 match C, etc. through all the groups. The reason that the matches are played this way in a round robin group stage is so that no group has an advantage over the other groups.
Yes.
What that means is, like, if Group A were to play all of their matches all at once, when somebody's like, why doesn't Group A just play all their matches?
Then they can watch everyone else.
Exactly. The players in B, C, and D would not have as much, they would have not as much time to watch them play, and they would most importantly have more time to prepare. So if you're in Group D, and it's a 3-day affair, that means you would know for like a week and a half who you might face in the brackets. That came out of groups A, B, and C, so you'd have more time to prep for those group results. You'd have more time to sort of see who might be coming out of there. And doing it in this even play format ensures more competitive integrity than you'd see in any other way that these are played. So I know one major complaint that I see on the TL.net and the Reddit threads is like, oh, it's so hard to follow. Why can't they just play one group all at once? Unfortunately, if you give it, like, if you think about it for 10.5 seconds, it makes a lot more sense, and this is absolutely the right call. So just keep an eye on the Liquipedia page for this event, and you'll be able to follow the event very easily.
Yeah, Creighton's completely right. Of course, we also get like 3 weeks of StarCraft. It's incredible. These the tournaments of yonder years would be, you know, 1 weekend or 4 days. 3 weeks of StarCraft almost every day, 6 days a week. It's just amazing. It's amazing for us as content creators. It's amazing for the fans who just want to watch some good bloody StarCraft. For now, let's talk about this game because we sort of talked for a while. Everyone put all their pylons at home. Unusual in a PvP here on Romanticide as well. I do find it's a very good proxy map. GunGFu has blocked off the natural of ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE forced to take the unusual one. This is a little bit more uncommon on PvP, unless you're playing against Rotterdam, who just takes rich gas geysers every game like an absolute boss. And in terms of tech, we have a Stargate here for our blue Protoss player, and we have a Twilight Council coming down for GunGFuBanDa, who will probably move into Blink play. That's very much to be expected, and there we go, it starts off. So nothing particularly gone down in this game. Both have killed the scouting probe. The really unusual thing, though, is ShoWTimE being forced to take that base.
Yeah, like you said, it started out fairly easily, fairly normal for these players with the two gateways into Cybercore. But that natural block for GunGFuBanDa forcing ShoWTimE to the third, the only unorthodox thing that's happened so far. Good scouting on both sides. The Oracle for ShoWTimE gets in and sees the Twilight Council researching, and of course GunGFu was able to spot that Stargate early on, so he's already got shield batteries down at the natural and in that main mineral line to protect against the Oracle. These are 2 top-tier players, and I would not expect to see big mistakes this early in the game from either of them. Even a cancel on that shade from GunGFu, just showing just how hyper-aware he is the last second. Beautifully played.
If all of those workers had been there, he probably would have completed, gone for 3 or 4, and then walked away from it. But just seeing there was one worker, he knew it wasn't worth it, and that's very, very, very high-level play. Nice catch here of the Oracle of ShoWTimE. From the Oracle of ShoWTimE, even we'll get 1 Adept. Second, probably going to be able to shade away. Target fire is good from ShoWTimE, but just not quite enough damage there. So ShoWTimE is able to get sort of the first blood on a unit here. He has also killed that pylon of GunGFuBanDa, but GunGFu doing a great job. Forge is going down at similar times here. Everything just to, be expected. Revelation going down here on the army of GunGFuBanDa. ShoWTimE has the control right now with the Oracle that is able to move between the move around the map and the bases very easily. But we do have another run by attempt here with a few Oracles, a few Adepts, that are just going to walk into this natural slash third. And this is the benefit right now of this base being taken. Nice pylon going down there for the block. A battery even. And a recall coming in here. GunGFu not committing too much. Going to go straight back out. I love this style of PvP. Just trading blows. Super, super sick. And guys, I do want to say, as this game is sort of in a lull, both players tacking up here, seeing you all in chat. I have chat open. I can see you all. It's a real pleasure to see you saying such nice things about us. This is what we love to do, you know, and maybe not everyone appreciates that. But this is all we ever wanted to do. So to see so many people saying such nice things, it does mean a lot. It really, really does. Not just for our self-confidence, but for our careers. We love every one of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's always a truism, Grant, that the positivity and general outlook of a streamer affects the chat in Twitch. And not to get too meta about Twitch chat or anything, but I'm so glad that the people watching this B stream and enjoying the games along with us are here for the ride, to talk about the match, to talk about positivity, to enjoy our little jokes, and just to have a good time. We come to StarCraft as a way of escaping from the problems of the modern world and enjoying ourselves. And it's so nice that I don't have to be in chat banning out people complaining about stuff and talking about extraneous nonsense. It's so nice to have such supportive and lovely people with us. Again, we'll be here all 11 days, so we're so happy that you're able to join us. Extra gates going down on both sides now as +1 and charge come out. You know, Grant, I've seen mirror matchups before, but this is one of those mirror matchups that is about as mirrory as it can get. I mean, look at the production tab. I know. Players.
Crazy.
Wild.
Absolutely crazy. Now, to be expected moving forward is that we will see Dark Shrines go down. We will see Robotics Bays and second Robos coming out shortly. Prisms will start to get involved, and we'll start to see a lot of harassment as fourth bases are taken. And that's where PvP gets interesting. If we can get a lot of disruptors out on either side, it's so difficult to commentate, but my bloody god is it fun. +2 starting identical times here. Zealot Legs very slightly ahead for ShoWTimE. This is as close as it gets. Work account even. Army Supply slightly favors ShoWTimE, but that's just a warp in. Robotics Bay is dropped by ShoWTimE. Templar Archives instead here from GunGFu to get things started, but I imagine we'll see that Robotics Bay very soon, Creighton.
You want an extra kick in the teeth, Grant? Open up the Resources Lost tab and see how close it is.
Oh my god!
8 minutes into a game, and these players are playing equally as aggressive as each other and have lost the same amount of resources. Now, there's a big push coming from a medium-sized push coming from GunGFu here. He doesn't quite have the. I was going to say Templar Archives finishes up just as the push goes, so I expect we'll see some warp-ins here of Templar moving into Archons. Of course, there's no Storm available yet, so he needs to morph those into an Archon very soon. There it is, and even using those Stalkers to surround the Archon and push it forward. These little micro tricks that we talk about to bring this Archon into the fight a couple seconds earlier, absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. But the Immortals on the high ground for ShoWTimE should be able to repel this fairly easily. I'm a little surprised to see GunGFu engaging.
He does manage to get some force spells that are pretty nice. Maybe able to take out one of these Immortals. No. I would say in terms of cost efficiency, that was worse here for GunGFu, and we can see units lost here. He loses about 500 extra in terms of resources. He does have that high ground vision, but this is very nice for ShoWTimE as well. There is a cannon, there is a battery, but able to one-shot these probes. But we do see the collapse here from GunGFuBanDa moving up the ramp. Super battery going to come in and dissuade this. And this is starting to look pretty good for ShoWTimE. Disruptors, double disruptors popping very soon, Creighton.
Yeah, as soon as those disruptors pop out, that's going to move a lot of the pressure away from ShoWTimE's natural and third right now. When you have an engagement coming into your base, when you're defending, you want that engagement to happen as far away from your probes as necessary. Any chance that an attacker has to sneak some shots off on a probe line, to work a disruptor ball in, to get a storm onto the probes is very, very dangerous. Obviously, you want to try and keep GunGFu as far away from those probes as possible, and ShoWTimE not reading this rotation actually very well at all. A couple probes going to go down here, but I think with the blink forward, ShoWTimE should be able to defend against this. The fourth Nexus for ShoWTimE should be just fine, but GunGFu being very cheeky with his rotations here, and whoa, this Warp Prism way too far forward.
Yeah, I agree. The the Archons are not in the fight. A blink forward and the Prism goes down, and now all of a sudden Disruptors join the fray, and we are going to have to see a full retreat from GunGFu. ShoWTimE has just, oh my god, that died so fucking quick. Excuse my language. Whoops. Right now, ShoWTimE is
positive and uplifting our stream is, Grant. Come on, man.
So quick.
There you go. Attaboy. Anyway, good defense there from ShoWTimE. That puts him way ahead in the army supply tab. If you look at the resources lost, you'll see he's almost twice ahead of GunGFu now. GunGFu really paying the price. This is something we talk about a lot in StarCraft. If you're being a more risky player, if you're leaving your army out here on the ramp between the natural and the third, if you're trying to box your opponent in, that's a risk you're taking. And that risk that GunGFu took to try and box ShoWTimE in and try and go for that aggressive push on the 6 o'clock base rather, it simply didn't pay off. And now GunGFu is going to have to sit back home, lick his wounds, hope he can heal up in time. But ShoWTimE now has the entire map to himself. He could expand to a 5th location if he wanted, or just sit back home and add on to that disruptor number. Still ahead 4-3 on disruptors and getting some decent shots up early. Yeah,
it's not like game ending by any means here. Excuse me. GunGFu has got disruptors out. His +3 is quicker by about 25-30 seconds. He's getting gravitic drive as well, so these prisms are going to become a bit of a nuisance, and he still has an army. ShoWTimE wasn't able to push out and punish. We should see a couple of purification novas come out here. Oh my god, that was so close. Nothing massive gonna get done just yet. We do have the prism, another prism going down. DTs as well going to go down, just not able to find anything here. Dark Shrine for ShoWTimE also on the way, as if to be reminded there by GunGFu's Dark Templars. But +3 getting ever so close for GunGFu, and it's a big upgrade for Archons, for Zealots, for Stalkers. So things certainly still not game ending for GunGFuBanDa, despite the supply differences.
Yeah, that +3 upgrade about 40 or 50 seconds ahead right now, which means there's going to be a fairly decent window here where ShoWTimE wants to be pressuring, because strategically he's in a very strong spot right now with his army, 115 supply to 73. But upgrade-wise, that +3 going to kick in at just the wrong time, so it would be a bit of an anti-timing for ShoWTimE, even though his army is considerably stronger than GunGFu's right now. If you check that army value tab, you'll see it's almost 2/3 more strong, not just in army supply, but in army value as well. But he's got to wait for his +3 to finish, and he still has another 30 seconds or so before that's going to wrap up. Yeah. He's going to continue pressuring, but he cannot dive on the army of GunGFu until not only is his +3 finished up, but look at this. He's got a sneaky army moving around the east side of the map as well.
Yeah, he needs to be a little bit careful, because did he just disrupt himself?
He nuked himself, yeah.
Yeah, now ShoWTimE can't afford to throw away a lot of units. He has the army moving around the north. It looks like GunGFu also has a few units up there at sort of the 2 o'clock position in order to deal with this. For now, though, ShoWTimE certainly in the driver's street. His +3 is finishing in 2 seconds. We see both players transitioning to Stargates as well, and we're getting a proper PvP here from both of these players. This is how the Germans do it. They do it efficiently, they do it properly. Shadow Stride on the way here from GunGFu, +1 air weapons beginning for both. Tempest on the way so far for ShoWTimE. But we should be seeing both of those players transition pretty soon. But this run-by going to do a lot of damage, Creighton.
Funny, we got counter run-bys going down on both sides here. DT's going to ward off the run-by from ShoWTimE. He does have an observer here, and 13 of his own probes going back home, as we see the DTs and Zealots in his own third as well. DT versus DT action here in the third base of both players. But look at this, GunGFu using the opportunity to try to push in here to the 6 o'clock base of ShoWTimE. Disruptor balls barely getting out in time, but the disruptors themselves can't blink away. My God, Grant, there's action on both sides of the map right now, and I don't know who's going to come away a winner. I think ShoWTimE is way ahead right now, but these are good blows from GunGFuBanDa. Trading evenly right now is not going to be enough for him, though. He's got to trade more efficiently, and that's a problem he's going to have, as already, I hope chat has their griddles ready, because the Fleet Bacon is down in ShoWTimE's base, and he's going to start sizzling away with some Tempest.
Yeah, there's no Fleet Bacon yet for GunGFu, and that is going to put him at a disadvantage. He'll need to begin Void Rope production, I imagine. Oh, decent purification over there. Gets a lot of Stalkers. Now, the good thing for ShoWTimE is Stalkers aren't that expensive. Of course, they're not free, but he was already maxed, and he does want to build more Tempest, so he can throw away some units. He'd rather be doing that with aggressive run-bys, such as we see. But GunGFu is getting closer to being maxed himself. I'm just concerned he's got +1 air weapons, he's got no air. He built the Stargate. Is he just on the 1? Yeah, against 3. Okay, this is going to get out of hand for GunGFu very quickly, unless he can capitalize on this. We see a couple of purification overs once again, not able to find anything on either side. This base will go down. The Tempest has been shown. I think Void Rays are the only option. Another big counter attack though from ShoWTimE. He's going to be able to take down the cannon, it looks like. And is there any detection here for GunGFuBanDa? Yeah, there's a few more
cannons. Extra cannons on the top side, but he'll be able to snipe those down, I think. This is still a really rough defense. Forces out the shield battery overcharge at a base that doesn't really matter anymore. Yeah. Wow, that battery lives with 1 hit point, 2 hit points.
Silence.
Goodness gracious. And look, guys, the army supply is roughly even for both players right now, right?
Yeah, it's very, very close still. Upgrades still identical, but ShoWTimE's army is getting stronger. Pro count does favor ShoWTimE still by 9, and the army supply is a little bit in his favor, but we have a lot of Archons being walked in. I think GunGFu's going to go for it. I think he knows he probably has to, because he isn't transitioning into air himself, which is a shame because he got +1 air weapons. Oh god, that was a move command.
Yep, that was definitely a move command here. GunGFu going to blink away, though, as soon as he sees the Disruptors and the Tempests, and that's really clutch, actually. These Disruptors are going to be so valuable for ShoWTimE right now, not because necessarily they do a lot of damage, but because they're able to zone out the entire army of GunGFuBanDa right now. The more ShoWTimE can force those Stalkers to blink away from his Tempest and to use that blink defensively is going to put ShoWTimE in a better and better position as the game goes forward. ShoWTimE, by the way, on 5 bases, as we just now see GunGFu's 5th base going down, and most importantly, and then there it is, ShoWTimE, I was about to say, can easily take a 6th base here on that middle base of Romanticide LE, a beautifully crafted map that allows challenging but rewarding 6th bases to go down.
Yeah, Purification Nova slightly favoring ShoWTimE here, but the main thing is he has the siege potential. Tempests are able to sit back at 111 range and just rain down fire on things. Such important gas guys as you think, 75 minerals. They're essential right now for GunGFu to stay in the game. He needs every piece of Vespian gas he can get. And we even have the Tempest upgrade coming in here for ShoWTimE. I don't know its name. He's continuing to try
Tectonic Destabilizers.
God damn, you're good at this. DTs against DTs, it's hard to see who's winning, but the Archons are offering a lot of damage here, forcing the recall. Very nice moves by GunGFu, buying himself time, buying himself leverage. If he can catch the Disruptors, maybe. No, he just doesn't have the vision to know that they are there. The game continues to be back and forth, but ShoWTimE certainly with the lead, and +2 air weapons and tectonic plate stabilizers.
Destabilizers. Tectonic destabilizers.
Yeah. Tectonic plates in a stable.
Like horses? Do you ride them?
Yeah, for
Dope.
sure.
Dope. Yeah, so those of you wondering, the Tectonic Destabilizer is one of the most recent upgrades added to the game. In fact, it is the latest upgrade added to the game for a unit. It allows the Tempests to do more damage against buildings, which is why it's called Tectonic Destabilizer. So I imagine it means the Tempest balls hit so hard that they shake the earth underneath the buildings. It's unbelievably cool, and it most importantly, though, Grant, of course, it turns those Tempest shots into red flaming balls against buildings. Oh man, the Blizzard art team nailed it.
Yeah.
Very nicely done. Nice set off of that Stasis Ward, by the way, by GunGFu, who saw it coming and is able to just sacrifice 1 Stalker. The real interesting part of this game right now is that ShoWTimE has been maxed for so long. Yeah. Look at the bank that ShoWTimE has been able to amass, being 1 base ahead of his opponent, taking more efficient trades the entire game. And really, even though he's losing a couple things here, a Tempest here and there, maybe a few Stalkers, even able to GunGFu able to drive the army at the north side away with a lot of these Archons at the top side, it's still way in favor of ShoWTimE, who can build just basically whatever he wants with 2K, 1K in the bank right now. It would take a huge push from GunGFu to come back. He's been so far behind in workers for so long.
One thing I will say is GunGFu's counterattacks, units like these that we're seeing right now, have been very effective at drawing ShoWTimE back and keeping him on the back foot. ShoWTimE's army is stronger, there's no doubt in my mind. But he's not been able to really commit to a fight, because if he cannot take a substantial win, a very clean knockout, there is a chance he gets absolutely decimated at home, and then he's up the creek without a paddle. He's in a lot of trouble, because all of his production could be jumped on by just this small group of units. It's a very cool force. We see Shadow Strike to get some of those DTs, those expensive units out of there. 5 more gates coming from ShoWTimE, who really wants to be able to remax. This is a pretty cost-inefficient trade right now, actually, for GunGFuBanDa. He lost a lot of units to cannons, but he is going to kill a lot of workers now. Oh god, he's going to get...
Well, he's not great. I thought he was going to kill a lot of workers as well, but luckily ShoWTimE able to respond pretty quickly. ShoWTimE has spent the entire game with his army split in twain. I don't know if you've noticed this, Grant. He's always had this little bunch of Stalkers at the top side. And I say a little bunch of Stalkers, but it's actually 19 Stalkers and an Observer. So a huge amount of his army has been split up. So even though these engagements for GunGFu have looked like they'd be fairly even, you're like, wow, army supply finding even in GunGFu maybe a little bit ahead. But keep in mind, this is almost all of GunGFu's army right now. He's got a little bit up top as well, but both players doing a nice nice job of keeping the army balanced between the north and south sides fairly even. And that's a little metagame that they're kind of playing with each other as well, right? How many people are you going to put up north? How many people are you going to put up south? Are both of your armies equivalent to mine? Because if you lose on one front, you can then lose on another front fairly easily. Good engagement here at the stick space. I think these stalkers will be able to drive it back.
Yeah, and to go back to my previous point, I've said a few times, ShoWTimE's army is tech superior with these Tempests, but he's not been able to really capitalize and move into carriers. And Tempests can still be dealt with Stalkers, with Archons. They're not that efficient, you know, in the kind of trades that we're seeing. ShoWTimE isn't able to sit back and siege. I say that's efficient, those fireballs, able to take out a few disruptors, but he's not been able to siege down bases. GunGFuBanDa is still mining very, very well. It's not as good as ShoWTimE. He doesn't have a bank. ShoWTimE's bank now getting a little scary, maybe, but those purification overs pretty darn good, Creighton.
They really are. This has been a fascinating juggling match between what GunGFu's been doing. He's been playing from a position of weakness almost the entire game, since that early game aggression of ShoWTimE when he attacked into the third base and cleared out a few of the probes. I'm not sure how many it is, but GunGFu's been behind by somewhere between 10 to 20 probes for the last 5-10 minutes of this game, maybe. And somehow he's still able to balance the army really well and keep an even army supply against ShoWTimE, while ShoWTimE has not been trading that efficiently. It looks fairly even with the efficiency trades right now, which, again, not the best for GunGFu, but as long as he trades efficiently with an even army, he can stay alive for just a little bit longer. Obviously, ShoWTimE is reflecting that in his bank, and ShoWTimE is still way ahead, don't get me wrong, but GunGFu's been playing very strongly from a very weak position for the entire game, and even if this game doesn't go in his favor, which it looks like ShoWTimE should be able to close it out, obviously with disruptors you can't make a real pronouncement, but we've got to give a huge kudos to GunGFu for playing a very strong game, and this lasted, 10 minutes longer than it could have with a weaker player.
And I mean, right now the scariest thing for GunGFu is upgrades. We talk about upgrades a lot, but it is +3 ground weapons, +3 air weapons, and +3 shields here for ShoWTimE. GunGFu has the +3 ground weapons, which is, fine and dandy, but he only has +1 shields, and we're already seeing 2 more upgrades. We're seeing ground armor and air armor coming in for ShoWTimE. He's really powering up here. These 2 DTs are a bloody nightmare for ShoWTimE right now, buying so much time. Purification overs fired left and right. They look like some decent connections there, but nothing, incredible, and that's what GunGFu needs. He needs a big win so he can pounce on the Tempest. The Tempest count is at 8, but 25 Stalkers can absolutely destroy that. Stalkers with +3 do a lot of damage to Tempest. We are finally, I don't know, it may be way too late at this point, seeing the Fleet Bacon get fired up here for GunGFuBanDa, and in the words of Creighton Olsen, he'll get griddling pretty soon, but I just don't know.
Yeah, he will. Now, I will say, if he goes into carrier production, if he can hold on for a little bit longer and goes into carrier production, he may have a shot here, but I think that would be almost too much of a risk even for GunGFu. You would have to be a gambling man to bet it all on black and go for carriers here. He doesn't have the money for it. And again, ShoWTimE's got this massive bank, and check the structures tab there with T. He's got ShoWTimE has 14 gates down, which means that even if ShoWTimE's entire army gets warped out, he can warp in 14 zealots at a time. He has enough money to do that twice, and he can just walk in and charge lot everything down if he wants to. Even if ShoWTimE trades evenly, it's still going to go way in his favor. I don't know why he's not warping in a couple. There it is, as we said, warping in more charge lots here. It's so funny. I love late game PvP where charge lot transition is like an actual scary thing to happen to these players, right? Yeah,
it's incredible, and we do see Tempests are going to be the production choice here from GunGFu, but he's doing what ShoWTimE was doing 6-7 minutes ago, and I mean he's going into Tempest versus Tempest, where he has lesser numbers, inferior upgrades, inferior everything, and it's going to be very difficult. We can see we're actually getting to the point where every base on the map is taken bar 1. That is now the only standing base. These DT run-bys that GunGFu has done are 100% the reason he's in the game. Adding Archons to this is ingenious. This is something I've not really seen too much of. You see the DT charge zealots, but adding Archons means you win the trades every time, because Archons just do so much to zealots and DTs. Oh god, okay.
Little late game blink there, saving the lives of all the stalkers, but a couple more of the disruptors do go down. The disruptor count fairly even for the players, honestly. So it's all going to come down to who can more effectively trade with those disruptors, and it looks like right now GunGfu is able to be a little bit, ShoWTimE is able to be a little bit more aggressive because he does have those Tempests in the air, so his zoning capabilities are much greater. When you watch a PvP, you have to think about zoning, I think second only to when you're watching a TVT with a tank versus tank battle. That's about the only other time you have to think about zone control as much as you do in PvP.
I mean, there's purification noders being fired left and right. It did seem like GunGfu was getting some good trades there. His Tempests are so sexy too. But it does look like ShoWTimE has broken him down. This is now supply dropped at 80 deficit here for GunGFuBanDa. He just got bled out, unfortunately. The Tempest transition was, it was a Hail Mary, but it didn't quite work out. He wasn't able to get the numbers he needed, and he is now losing these trades. A lot of Stalkers, and GG, that's just map 1, ladies and gentlemen.
A 26-minute showdown between these two German players. I wish I knew the German word for like showdown or barn burner, because I'm sure it's probably like 10 minutes long to say the German word for like it probably translates directly as like an exciting match between two players who are evenly matched and both put on a good show. I'm sure like that's what it is in German. Yeah, with great efficiency, because that's how all German words end, with whatever the German phrase is for with great efficiency. The point is, two really great players, and like we said, there's no getting around it, Grant. ShoWTimE was ahead for that entire game, right?
Yes.
And it's hard when you're watching the game not to say, all right, come on, GunGfu, tap out, you're way behind. Don't forget, guys, we're playing with map hacks here. We see the entire map, we see the rotations, we know what everybody has, but ShoWTimE and GunGfu don't know that. Fog of War is so strong. So I gotta say, it's very commendable from GunGfu to stay in that game and fight his heart out, despite being so far behind. Absolutely beautiful from him.
Yeah, and it was close for a while. I was really surprised by how efficient GunGfu was able to be. I said it during the game, but the addition of Archons to his counterattacks and his run-bys was bloody smart. Oh, yeah. And that kept him in the game for a very long time. But now we move on to Oxide. We move on to a second map, and I'm kind of feeling GunGfu a little bit right now.
Wow, okay, big pulls. Well, let's see what we can get into here in game number 2, as you said, on Oxide, LE.
Our first player in the bottom left, playing for Berlin International Gamers, BIG. He is Demauer, the Protoss player in blue, ShoWTimE.
And his opponent in that top right-hand side in the red, his fellow countryman from Germany, representing Cascade Gaming. It is GunGFuBanDa. Hey Grant, how do you feel about fun map tidbits?
Oh, I love them.
You following my camera?
Yeah.
Check this out. Okay. So, Oxide features these little towers all over the map, right?
Yeah, with like fireflies.
They have like little bubbling water or fireflies or whatever it is. Yeah. One of the towers on this map, and I believe it's this one, if we get a vision on it, maybe we'll have to wait. One of the towers on this map actually has, you know those little Ewok guys that are hidden all over?
Yeah.
They're called Moopies. Oh, it's this one.
Moopies?
This one
has
a Moopie inside of it. It's the only one that has a Moopie inside of it. And I don't know, I want to track down the map maker and ask them why, but they weren't in my map tournament the other day, so I wasn't able to ask. But this is the only tower in the game that has a Moopie in it. I believe there's another tower with something else in it that I couldn't quite identify. Like I zoomed in and checked around and I couldn't tell what it was, but like there's something inside of it. But yeah, that tower has a little Moopie in it. And I don't know why he's trapped in there, but I hope he's having a good time.
I feel like he is, man. I feel like he is. This is blown my mind. Now, to talk about the game.
So good.
ShoWTimE has been a big proponent of going for one gate expand on the low ground on maps like this with wide ramps in the natural. Both players tried to do the same thing. Both players pylon blocked the other one. So he just dropped the side.
Wait, what? Wow. Wow, GunGfu, you cheeky little bugger.
It's a really tanky building.
It really is. This is such a cute build here from GunGfu. Obviously, dropping that cybernetics core. If this were a ladder game, I might expect there to be some German banter in the chat right now with a little bit of words that I'm not sure we're allowed to broadcast on ESL.
Yes.
But a very fun build here from GunGfu, just to slow ShoWTimE down a little bit more. Luckily, there's a cyber core on the side as well.
Oh my gosh. Both players doing the exact same thing. Now we do see a Stargate going down for ShoWTimE. Very, very quick. It is, I believe, just before Warp Gate. It would have been at around the same time. They will, of course, let this 150 mineral building complete, because this is a lot of time right now that is being saved. And neither player can afford to cancel and let the other one get it up at this point. So we do see that Stargate for ShoWTimE. No tech choice yet for GunGFuBanDa, who I would anticipate is, with his later tech, is probably going to go for a Twilight Council again. Generally, if you're going later tech, you're going Twilight into Robo, and then you'll look for a Stargate later, and that is what we are going to see. So similar builds, despite the craziness here in the early game. No one really picking up an edge, I'd say. Worker count's very even, army supplies very even. If the Oracle can find some damage, though, that would be very, very nice for ShoWTimE.
I would be shocked if that Oracle found any damage. Obviously, GunGfu spotted out the Stargate from ShoWTimE at the exact time, because he had that Cybernetics Core down in the natural. And conversely, ShoWTimE was able to spot the Twilight Council of his opponent. So I'm honestly not sure who that actually benefits. I suspect that ShoWTimE dropped the Stargate with the knowledge that there'd be a Twilight down. I'll be honest, I'm shocked that GunGfu has not dropped a shield battery already in his main. That's going to go down. It's going to be so close, though, to finishing by the time that Oracle gets there. I think the Oracle might be able to get a couple kills before that finishes, though, Grant. Yeah,
it's not even halfway done yet, Creighton, and already the Oracle's prodding his way in. Now, there is a Stalker here, and a Zealot. The Zealot looking up, you know, wishing he could slice and dice, but not going to be able to. We see 3 kills going down, 4. Very nice there, and ShoWTimE, very intelligently, of course, will keep the Oracle alive. It offers so much going forward. We say it all the time. I see you in Twitch chat, Graham.
I'm trying not to be too inflammatory, but let me tell you guys, if you don't know about hidden movies on maps, why are you even playing StarCraft?
Precisely.
Like, what are you doing? Blink on both sides. Obviously, Blink a little earlier for GunGfu, as these 2 Oracles have traded out basically a little bit of economic damage and scouting for that Blink tech, but 3 more kills. He's going to lose 1 Oracle here, overstaying his welcome just a little bit, gets a 4th one, and keeps 1 Oracle alive. Yes, keeps 1 Oracle alive, which is just fine. Obviously, as you said earlier, Grant, Oracle's so valuable early game, mid game, late game. That revelation never, ever gets old for our players.
No. And 9 workers already going down here. ShoWTimE able to get a pretty good start. I would say this certainly favors him. Just looking at the worker count, there is a 9 worker difference. ShoWTimE's Blink, of course, a little behind, but with the damage done, GunGFuBanDa isn't going to be able to move in with a whole bunch of Stalkers and take a good, strong fight early on, because he just doesn't have the money to drop down a load of gateways and to support that. So ShoWTimE should be moving into the 3rd base within the next minute or so. He is looking very strong right now. Going forward, Robo's going down for both. ShoWTimE having the advantage. But the main thing right now, I would say, is the Forge. It is a lot quicker for ShoWTimE, and that is the sign that he just has more money.
Yeah, you know, we talked about this in the last game, Grant, where PvP is one of those matches where if the players follow similar tech paths, which, granted, there was a Stargate out for ShoWTimE, but now things have sort of normalized for both of them.
Yeah.
If the players follow similar tech paths throughout the early and mid game, a lot of it comes down to execution, and every single unit kill really matters. And we can see that reflected absolutely beautifully here. As you said, that Forge showing that ShoWTimE just has a bit of extra scratch in the bank, a little bit more effectively playing than GunGfu, as he's able to prevent these Adepts from getting too much more damage done. Only 3 probe kills. And think about the 9 probe kills that happened earlier for ShoWTimE. I'm not a maths guy, Grant, but I believe GunGfu had about 29 probes when those 9 were killed. So give or take, that's 30% of his economy gone, meaning his build is not 30% slower, it's like 60% slower, because he's got to rebuild those probes in addition to rebuilding all of his infrastructure that he was planning on building 2-3 minutes ago. As the 3rd bases go down at similar times for these players, if you just look at the game in a snapshot right now, you might think, oh, it looks pretty even. But unfortunately, no, GunGfu. If you just look at the game in a snapshot right now, you might think it's fairly even, but realistically, ShoWTimE is in such a strong position here. GunGfu so far behind that he lags out a little bit.
Yeah, GunGfu, we're just going to make sure everything is okay. He has not disconnected, guys. He is in the game. Yes. I
don't speak German, but I don't think that's good from GunGfu.
I think I get it, but I'm not sure. I need to check what that word means.
It's fine. It doesn't matter. GunGfu having some technical difficulties, but we'll get back into the game very soon, I'm sure. ShoWTimE, just again, starting so well this game. And GunGFu is going to be struggling to catch up for the entire rest of the series. Grant, you hate to see it in a PvP, in a mirror matchup, when both players look so even going in game number 1, taking it to a 26-minute game. And we are so excited, right, in game 2, to see if GunGFu could hold up with the same sort of moxie that he had in game number 1. But it looks like he's going to be in such a deep hole this time. I don't know if he's going to be able to last despite having great play.
Yeah, so we are back into the game, guys. We just wait for the chat to clear because there's a whole load of German. But GunGFu did say it is more or less fixed, and we will be carrying on now. Now, ShoWTimE's upgrades are they are a lot better, and that is a sign of what has happened. You can see his third base isn't much quicker. Actually, if anything, it's almost the same. But ShoWTimE's going to be able to eke out things like that prism and really push forward in the game now. We should see his +2 starting very quickly as well. And in terms of workers, GunGFu has caught up a little bit, but he doesn't have the prism. He doesn't have his +1 as quick as previously said. Extra gates going down quicker, and wow, we see GunGFu going for a very quick robotics bay here, Creighton.
Ooh, a bit of a Hail Mary. Like we said last game, when he transitioned to the fleet beacon, we were like, wow, this is it could have been a big risky move if he had gone for carriers. Now, obviously, we went Tempest, which is a much safer choice. But this game, it looks like GunGFu a little bit more YOLO, hoping to get those disruptors out very quickly, banking on some big disruptor shots, and the zoning from the disruptors, stopping ShoWTimE from pushing. But ShoWTimE, of course, a smart enough player to realize, hey, again, like you said a couple games ago, where's the money?
Yes.
What are you building? Why is there not much more on the map right now? And he's going to see the revelation, sees what he's up against from GunGFu, and I would not be surprised to see him push here. Even though the Immortal count's fairly even and there's a shield battery for GunGFu, I think ShoWTimE can probably do this even without the Warp Prism in play. But the Warp Prism is ready to roll now.
Yeah, and guys, you have no idea how scary it is. When the game lags, neither caster will ever talk and go, is it you? Because we're both petrified it's us. We both don't know, you know. I'm like, oh no, is it me? Is it me? Is it me? Because I've had I've had some really bad weather here today as well, so I was a little concerned.
Oh yeah.
But we are okay.
He's gonna blink up into the main. Is he gonna blink into the main? Oh, that'd be such a Chad move. It'd be such a Chad move. Blink up in the main. There's nothing here. GunGFu's way out of position. Has not read this movement at all. The observer from ShoWTimE sees the army, sees it's out of position. He's gotta go for it. He's doing it. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Only 2 stalkers here. Only 2 stalkers here. Observer moves in from ShoWTimE, doesn't see it. GunGFu's not rotating. ShoWTimE, what are you waiting for? Here we go. Come on, buddy. Come on, come on, come on.
Here we go. No, we don't. Come on. Yay!
There it is.
Half of the army in the second half now blinks up. It's going to be able to do a bit of damage. It's not going to be game ending by any means, of course. He gets a couple of the tech buildings, a unit or 2, but and will blink away a little bit slowly. But he does take some pylons and things. That's nice for ShoWTimE because, again, it is slowing GunGFu down, forcing rotations.
That was a huge... Sorry, go on.
No, you go on.
That was a huge missed opportunity from ShoWTimE. He had sentries warped in on the low ground, and the Warp Prism was actually warping in more stalkers behind that. If he had force fielded off the ramp between the natural and the main, he could have just straight up won the game there. There's nothing to break a force field right now from GunGFu, and with the 3 sentries with very high energy, he could have cleared out the entire main base. Now, of course, he's doing the same thing, but with the natural now, zoning out the army of his opponent. And he's going to get the 3rd base. The DT getting a little bit of damage done, but there is an observer available. The DT gets taken down, and this is going to be a huge win for ShoWTimE. GunGFu's going to lose the 3rd, and the disruptor shots just not hitting what they want. 17 more probes going down, and as we said, GunGFu starting from an extremely crippled position, and ShoWTimE is able to just make this work. A little bit of a DT run by in the main and natural, but a few probes here and there for ShoWTimE is not going to matter, honestly, with the army supply so badly different. +2 over +1 for upgrades. I don't see any way that ShoWTimE could possibly lose this, Grant.
No, I mean, 60 supply difference right now. The DTs are the only reason GunGFu has not typed GG, because they did get a bit of lost mining time and kill 7-8 workers. But at the same time, if we look at workers lost right now, 27 to 12. Resources lost is... you know, nearly 6k to 3k in favor of ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE just so cost efficient. He's barely lost anything. Only 6 stalkers this game, despite how many he has made. Very few zealots going down as well. Just incredible play right now for both of these players, but ShoWTimE specifically. He's using these oracles so well. And now we see the aggressive play forward onto the disruptors, and there is GG. ShoWTimE picks up the series.